but it defies my imagination of thought that somebody could be horrific like that.
That's why I'm deeply sorry around that.
You deeply sorry?
Yes, yes.
Why weren't you deeply sorry when you were doing this over and over and over again? You enjoy being deeply sorry? Because you, according to you, you put yourself through all kinds of hell. But you're not sorry. I don't believe that. Probation office even knows that.
All right, let's go back on the record.
But let me make something clear to you today.
Prosecutor's office.
What do you want to give me?
Jolie
Fear
Lowe
of
is
you.
Possession of a shopping cart. Oh my
Is
God.
that a serious charge, you think? Is that a serious charge?
Heinous. Heinous.
Yes, I filed it when we did this.
So 5 cases are called 23 CR 785, 786, 787, 788, and 789. Each of these were indictments for illegal possession of child pornography. The defendant was sentenced to 8 years in prison on each of those cases, correct?
Yes, sir.
On November 30th of last year. It has been less than 6 months or 180 days since the assessment of the sentence. The defense has filed motions to impose community supervision, stating the defendant has never previously been incarcerated and is otherwise eligible for probation. And so we are here to do that. And in each of these cases, it's alleged the same. It was wrapped up in the same event, correct?
Yes, sir.
There were numerous victims portrayed in the images, I presume.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Schlander, and Mr. You were Christopher Wayne Manuel, correct here?
Yes, sir.
You've heard what the court has said, and your attorney is present and the state's attorney. Go ahead.
Your name's Christopher Wayne, is that correct? Yes.
Why don't you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm your other right? Swear or affirm any statement you make today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth during this hearing. So help you God.
Yes, sir.
Lower your hand. Go ahead.
You're Christopher Wayne, is that correct? Yes. And we filed this motion to impose community supervision or short probation. You're aware of that, right? Yes. And all these allegations that we've alleged in the motion are true and correct, is that right? Yes. You've never before been convicted of a felony. Yeah. You've been in prison now for less than 180 days. Yes. Otherwise, as far as you understand the law and everything, you're eligible for community supervision. Yes. And you haven't had any problems in prison of any consequence since you've been there, have you? Yeah. Are you asking the court to grant you shock probation, representing to the courts that you can follow all the terms of probation, and otherwise, at the end of that, become a useful and successful law-abiding citizen? Yes, I am. That's been called for that today. Are you going to live with your folks? Is that right? Yes. They're out there in the audience here in support of you. Yes, they're going to help you make sure everything goes smoothly. Is that right? Yes. You're a single man. Is that right? Yes.
Yeah, pre-sentence report, please.
I do, Your Honor. I will have to have one of them printed out, folks.
Okay, just, I'll bring it up.
I get mine. No.
I just need a hard copy to look at and refresh my memory. Thank you.
I think I have given.
We don't need to bring her back up, huh?
I'm not sure, Judge. I'm so confused.
I think we did this. It was just
I
a
think you did.
matter of memorializing it. The prosecution has to sign this and the court coordinator. Who was the prosecutor on this? Do you remember?
Jimmy.
Jimmy? Yeah. Can you sign these? We're cleaning up this mess.
I have a pen, Judge. if you wanna hang on first.
How long have you living with your parents?
One of the hurricanes displaced me back in 2005.
Since 2005?
Yes. I was living in an apartment. And then when the hurricanes did damage to my apartment, I had to move back to my family, back to my parents in 2005, I think.
Okay, I'm gonna highlight this. All right, go ahead. Anything else you want to add? I know it's in the motion. You received, the state's
Yes.
received a motion.
That's all I have.
Copy the motion. All right, what's state say?
The state would defer to the court's wisdom on this, Your Honor. The only thing I would note was the 575 files of child pornography that he had, and that it was on every single device that he owned, along with the fact that he admitted to using that child pornography to achieve sexual gratification daily, is of concern to me. If we were to do the shock probation, I would highly suggest that we follow the treatment plan set out by probation of the therapy that they suggest.
And while on probation, if I did this, I understand you would be living with your parents?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
And you've been living with them though since '05.
Yes, Your Honor.
What do you want to say?
Yes. Again, I'm deeply sorry for this crime. I'm sorry for the victims. I have learned my lesson being in the system for the past 5 months. This is very serious, and if you grant me probation, I will do my best to,
Do your best is not what
well,
is required of you.
that,
It's to follow the rules.
yeah, follow the rules. And
And
never
that's
do-
generally doing the best, but everybody says they're going to do the best.
And I will.
How is living with your parents helping you be responsible and independent? Curious. Because you were doing this right under their noses, apparently. They didn't know, I guess. And you were pulling this off in their house?
Yes,
Mhm.
I will be responsible now.
Sir,
I will be responsible now.
something else here in the pre-sentence report. It says you've been using marijuana since 16 years of age.
Yes, Your Honor.
It says daily.
Yes. But I will,
Now, how is it you could be living with your parents since 2005 and them not know about marijuana, daily marijuana use? Because it reeks. How can they be trusted to be somebody that would be helping you complete probation if all of this is true? I mean, right, you're pulling stuff right under their nose, but everybody knows what marijuana smells like. And is that right? Do they condone, are they marijuana users or anything?
Yes, no, Your Honor.
How can you pull that off for years and years without them knowing marijuana is being used daily? Can you explain that to me? I'm a smart guy. I just don't understand this. So you've been fooling them?
Yes, Your Honor.
You've been-
Sorry.
You've been fooling them with the pornography and with the marijuana use right under their nose?
Yes, I have, and I'm deeply sorry for doing that.
No. You're not gonna qualify as the good son.
My best to make it up to him.
Sir?
I will try my best. I will do my best to make it up to him.
Mhm. Let me ask you about the victims here, 500 and some odd. How do you undo the harm to them? When a child pornography, which is made, when it is then used, it re-victimizes the child. Every time it is seen, it re-victimizes that child.
Yes,
That's why it's so disturbing. It's the Pandora's box that keeps on giving, because there's no way you can put the genie back in the bottle on child pornography when it gets out. Those children are victimized the rest of their life. How about that? Or did you even think about that?
I didn't think at the time.
How can you be so selfish? How can you harm children like that? I know it happens. It happens in
It's my deeply-
people, but it defies my imagination of thought that somebody could be horrific like that.
That's why I'm deeply sorry right now.
You deeply sorry?
Yes, yes.
Why weren't you deeply sorry when you were doing this over and over and over again? You enjoy being deeply sorry? Because you, according to you, you put yourself through all kinds of hell. But you're not sorry. I don't believe that.
Saying this.
Probation office even knows that. Because you've got a problem. And it is, it's a moral issue, but you enjoy child pornography, which is pretty sick. It's not proper behavior. It's antisocial personality disorder of sorts. Because it injures children,
Yes.
and you apparently enjoy doing that.
Changed.
Say that again?
So I've changed. I will never do that again.
What changed it? You got caught and got punished? Because you've been having, well, a lot of time, you've been committing crimes since you were 16 years of age. You were using marijuana daily. I mean, you're a prolific criminal. How old are you now?
43.
How many years? Quarter of a century? Over a quarter of a century? You've been committing crimes daily? And now that you've gotten in jail, you're always well. I don't believe that, but what we're going to do is unless you get some assistance, you're going to further be a harm to children the moment you get out of service. We all know that. That's what the two-edged sword about all this is this is why this motion is going to get granted, and you're going to get the relief your attorney is asking for. Because if you don't, you'll be released, you'll be on parole, but really there won't be much anybody can do about your antisocial behavior and harm to children and marijuana use. You're going to need help with all of that. So what the court is going to do is grant these motions to impose probation after you have completed 180 days in custody, which is still a little ways to go. You're going to go do this much time as you can get on a probation. Then You will be placed on probation in each of these cases for 10 years. And you will be ordered, among other terms and conditions of probation, to receive assistance as suggested and recommended. You will enter and complete an approved sex offender treatment program provided by a licensed sex offender treatment provider. You shall not possess any printed, photographed, computer-generated images, recordings, sexually simulating or sexually oriented material involving pornography. Also, a substance abuse assessment will be made and for evaluation, and it will be determined what type of assistance you may need for your over quarter of a year daily use of marijuana, which certainly became addictive over that period of time, which was done while you were at home with your parents. Had to have known that was happening, because we all know what marijuana smells like. Or maybe they didn't. Maybe you pulled the wool over their eyes for a quarter of a century. But fact of the matter is, you're grown up. And you are in your 40s, and you're not supposed to be living with your parents anyway. You're supposed to be independent. And you haven't, while you've lived with your parents, done anything but commit, that I know about, that's good, except commit crimes. One of the worst crimes is the harm to children by sexually offending. So living with your parents aren't really helping you do much good. But nonetheless, you're going to be placed on probation, and there will be those terms and conditions of probation along with the other terms and conditions, knowing that you're on thin ice anyway with this. You'll be back, and you can serve out the rest of your 8 years if you fail. You understand where we are in these 5 cases?
Yes, sir.
And I mean, this is, you've made a mess in every direction. Now, what your parents are here, but I don't know really what the facts are. I can just use common sense. Maybe you pulled wool over them and misused them, which would really be a sin against nature, as well as the sin of nature in victimizing children. Shame on them. And hopefully this will help. These terms will help you not harm other children. But at the end of the day, it's your free will, which has failed for a long time to do the right thing. You understand what has happened today?
Yes, sir.
All right, those are the orders of the court. Thank you. That is all.
Thank you.
Mail my best to your family. Of course.
Tell.
Keith Green. So what is this?
He is,
Class A
it's a
misdemeanor.
misdemeanor, and we have an agreement, 100 days county jail.
'21 38652 is called Tyrone Forbes Downs. Is that you?
Yes.
And you were here, Mr. Dusler is your attorney. There's a motion to revoke unadjudicated probation that was filed on January of 2024. You are coming up on the anniversary date of your 2 years, right? On probation. So, is there a pre-sentence report that is handy? And now, who are you, ma'am?
I'm a CSO, Miranda Baeza,
Oh, good, good. How long have you been there now?
a month.
A month. Okay, well, welcome. Welcome.
you.
Good for us. There should be. Look at that real quickly. The run was done. It was a misdemeanor, maybe it wasn't. Oh, here it is. No, by done an administrative hearing. But is there a pre-sentence report in there at all?
I'm not sure there was one done on misdemeanor.
Somebody, do y'all have a criminal history on him? Mr. Board, do you know anything about this man? I mean, he's a,
I believe he has a DWI, the child under 15 years of age. That was in Orange County, 2017. He was convicted in that case. It was 5 years probation, I believe.
107 days credit.
anything else y'all show on a criminal history? Okay. Let's see. So. Refuse to participate in the intermediate sanctions facility as instructed. Using methamphetamine. I'm looking at all the things he failed to do. Is there anything he did do?
He completed the book class. Yes, and his community service.
And what?
Community service.
Dave, has anything to say?
No, Your Honor, I think we agreed on the 100 days what the court accepts it.
Okay, it just seems like the facts of this case are just very threatening violence. I mean, certainly was, according to this, attempted aggravated assault. It was filed as a misdemeanor, but placed a knife to the back of her left ear. Placed his right hand around her throat. So choking and putting a knife to somebody's aggravated. And I just don't think much of people who pick on girls, men. That's not manly. That's weak. No, I don't like 100 days.
You have discretion.
I certainly do.
He's still going to plead the truth. You have the discretion.
Is that right? Y'all want to go unagreed?
Yes, sir.
Your call.
Yes.
All right, in 21-38652, the state of Texas versus Tyrone Forbes now, that is you. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any statement you make during this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Lower your hand. Does the defendant waive a formal reading of this motion to revoke unadjudicated probation? Can we proceed in summary?
Yes.
In summary, this motion alleges that was filed on January 25th of this year. This states that on May 18th, 2022, in this court, you were placed on 2 years deferred or unadjudicated probation for the Class A misdemeanor of assault bodily and causing bodily injury, family violence, choking. Is that true? Allegation 1 states that you provided a urine sample on or about November 28th, 2023, which showed the presence of methamphetamine in your system which was in violation of condition 10 of your probation order. And which states do not use or possess any drug. Is that allegation true or untrue?
True.
And finally, number 2, you failed to successfully complete the Jefferson County Drug Intervention Program as directed. Is that true or untrue?
True.
Are you pleading true to allegations 1 and 2 voluntarily, knowingly, intelligently, and because those are true?
Yes.
You understand by a knowing and voluntary plea of true, that is enough to grant this motion to revoke probation to a violation of your probation as alleged in allegations 1 and 2 you pleaded true to. Your probation can be revoked. You can now be found guilty and sentenced up to 1 year in the county jail. Knowing that, do you insist on pleading true today? I find you were pleading true voluntarily. You understand and appreciate the consequences of pleading true. State want to add anything?
No, Your Honor, we just then, I guess, asked for the 1 year in county jail.
State is asking for 1 year. What do you say?
We felt like the original agreement was appropriate, so we would ask for something less.
It's just number one, the facts of this case are very disturbing, obviously. You don't put a knife to somebody's throat and squeeze their neck. I mean, you only squeeze somebody's neck to kill them. Or make them believe they're going to be killed. And then putting a knife to somebody's throat is such this whole factual situation is cowardly. And then you're picking on girls. On a girl. That's not gentlemanly. That's not manly. That's not the way the social system was. You're supposed to take care of the lady, not treat them like dirt. And that's the way you would handle somebody if you wanted to rob someone. I mean, it's just illegal. It's aggravated. It's violent. It has certainly nothing to do with a relationship. Are y'all in a romantic relationship?
Yes.
Your version of romance is different from mine. You were in a nightmare relationship. Is what you pulled. Anything you want to say? This is no way you treat a lady. This isn't and you pleaded guilty to it, so it's out there on the table. At least you took ownership to the responsibility, but then you mishandled everything from then on. You're supposed to handle this like, yeah, I take this seriously, and I'm going to do what it takes to fix this. But how do you undo the fear that's put into somebody by putting a knife to their throat and squeezing their neck? How do you undo that? You can't. All right, I'm going to find that there is, if nothing further, there is sufficient evidence supporting this motion to revoke unadjudicated probation to grant it by a preponderance of the evidence or greater as allegations 1 and 2 have been proven true beyond a reasonable doubt. Your deferred or unadjudicated probation is hereby revoked. Earlier, you pleaded guilty voluntarily to this Class A misdemeanor of family violence assault. You were mentally competent to do so. You understood the consequences of pleading guilty. There was sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea from State's Exhibit 1 admitted at that hearing to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. I find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt based upon these violations of probation of this indictment that you were charged with. And you pleaded guilty to a lesser included, right?
Yes.
What did we do? Attempted? Was it attempted?
It's just the Class A assault.
What made it the Class A assault from the 3rd degree felony? What did y'all?
Your Honor, the victim did not wish to prosecute in this case.
That doesn't make it anything. I'm talking about from he was indicted. Is it family violence
Yes, sir.
that made it?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, so he did not plead to the family violence. Is that,
We
is that
pled
what?
to the assault family violence, which makes it the class A misdemeanor, the family violence.
What was, what I'm asking about is, what is it that made it a third degree felony? Because it's captioned assault dash family violence choking, third degree felony.
The
He
choking
pleads to
makes
Oh,
it
the-
third degree. Yes, sir.
the choking.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But family violence still stands.
Yes, sir.
You were hereby found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of this assault of family violence and alleged to be family violence. You were hereby sentenced to confinement in the county jail for 6 months. You will be given credit for time you have served. And the judgment shall reflect that this assault is a crime of family violence. And that's never a good thing of families. There's not supposed to be violence after the word family. But you brought it into the equation by your unlawful acts. All right. Do you understand what has happened today? That is all. Thank you. Next is Cameron Elliott. Mr. Dusler.
That's a plea as well.
Cameron Elliott, please.
Revoke.
Is it one case or
One case. Mr. Ham told me this morning that it didn't look like that the plea agreement went through on the tablet. But we did sign up the jail. Sometimes with that old equipment, it doesn't go through like it should. But we do have an agreement for 5 years to TDC.
No, I don't have it on this. What was the date it was done?
The date it was done was April 24th. And again, Mr.
I
Ham
don't
couldn't
have
find it
it.
either.
I don't have anything.
You know.
Y'all gonna have to redo it.
Sometimes that equipment, but
It didn't get over here. I'm looking at all of these. I'm going to scrolling down at
that's fine.
the early ones.
We'll
And
submit it
nothing's
again
showing
right
up.
We'll submit, you can go ahead and ship it out.
Yeah, but y'all gotta get a plea agreement, right?
It is.
Well, y'all gotta do that first, so I
Okay,
can
so
sign
you're
off.
doing that now?
I'm not gonna do it in front of you. I'm gonna have to
No,
come back.
I was gonna-
and
that's fine.
Get it done and
Okay.
then let me know when you're through.
We'll do finish our paper.
Next is Chad Gums.
Yes, Your Honor, that's a plea. You don't take custody.
Is the paperwork all done?
Yes, sir.
It's in my queue, Judge, but I need to swear. him in.
Chad Gums, Gums. Say it again. Cameron Elliott. 21-37627, that's you with your attorney and the state's attorney. Mr. Dusler, what are we going to do today?
Motion to revoke probation agreed.
In 21-37627. You got a problem? Here's the file. I don't see a motion to revoke probation anywhere in that building.
Use my copy.
It's filed March 1st. It was accepted March 1st.
Want your copy, Don? I want my copy.
You want this
I'm
copy?
supposed to have my copy. No, I'm supposed to have a, I'm the first one supposed to get a copy. The copies.
Copy of that.
Yeah, I know. Last time I used yours, it was marked with all those notes that were real derogatory about me, I thought. And it was supposed to be, I hurt my feelings. Mr. Elliott, you've got almost 500 days credit. Sir, that's a lot of time.
Yes, Sean.
All right, we now call again 21-37627 Cameron Michael Elliott, present with Mr. Dusler, his attorney and the state's attorney. There's a motion to revoke unadjudicated probation, which has been filed on March 1st of this year. Does the defendant waive a formal reading of this? Can we proceed in summary?
Yes, sir.
In summary, this motion alleges that on, and raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear or affirm any statement you make during this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
Lord. In summary, this states that on December 13th, 2021, in this court, you were placed on 10 years deferred or unadjudicated probation after pleading guilty to the second-degree felony of aggravated assault as indicted in this case. Is all of that true, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
1, 3, and 4.
Number one states that you failed to provide verification of performing community service hours as required. Is that true or untrue?
It's true.
How are we doing on that? How many hours did he?
No, sir.
None?
None.
None?
No, sir. He was in safety.
Nobody does none.
He was in safety and didn't get you safety.
That's the reason we have so much credit. It was in safety.
We must have successfully completed.
The original part of it, but not the
We-
after part. No.
But they don't give him credit for failure.
He didn't complete the original part. He was thrown out.
Well, he's been sitting in jail for a long time. How much time were you in safety?
I was in safety 2 times, and each
About how
time, the
much
first
time?
time was 12 months, I think, or 11 months. The first time was 11 months. The second time was 9 months.
That's 20 months, but you don't even get credit for that, dude.
Well, I know I did a lot of
But I
did
mean,
all the
if you're-
other groups in one.
If you're dismissed from it unsuccessfully, you're not going to get credit for that. It's just wasted 20 months of your life, as it were. All right, number one, then you're admitting you failed to provide verification performing community service hours as required. Next.
3 and 4.
Number three, you failed to continue in services at Spindletop Center MHMR and follow through with the recommended treatment plan. Is that true?
Yes, John.
And number four, you failed to successfully complete the substance abuse felony punishment safe P program that you were ordered to serve. And is that true?
Yes, John.
Are you admitting to failing to follow the requirements of your probation as alleged in allegations 1, 3, and 4, again, failing to provide verification of performing community service hours, failing to continue in services at Spindletop MHM and a treatment plan that had been recommended, and failing to complete the substance abuse felony punishment facility program? Are you pleading true to all of those voluntarily, knowingly, intelligently, and because they are true?
Yes, John.
Do you understand that that is enough to grant this motion to revoke probation? Your probation can be revoked. You can now be found guilty of the second-degree felony of aggravated assault, and you face no less than no more than 20 years confinement in prison. And also, because a deadly weapon was used in the commission of the offense, then your parole is, you're not parolable unless you serve at least 50% of prison time. Do you understand all of that?
Yes, John.
Knowing all of that, do you insist on pleading true nonetheless to these violations of probation?
Yes, John.
I find you are pleading true voluntarily. You understand and appreciate the consequences of pleading true
Yes, John. I do.
in each of these, for each of these violations. No wonder. There's an agreement that's been reached where you would be pleading true, your probation revoked, and you would be found guilty, sentenced to 5 years in prison. Is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, John.
If I follow that, you have no right of appeal of your case. Do you understand?
Yes, John.
I'm going to show you what's marked as State's Exhibit 1. Did you sign that document voluntarily? Understand it? Discuss it with your attorney. Is everything true and correct?
Yes, John.
State's Exhibit 1 tendered into
No objection.
without objection admitted. This states you are giving up all rights of appeal if I follow this agreement, which I am going to do.
Yes, John.
All right. State's Exhibit 1 made a part of the record.
Thank you, Your Honor. God bless you. God bless the court.
Just. Yeah, all the blessings fine, but it's one thing to distribute in words blessing, and it's another one to bless others by your actions. That's what we would prefer you do.
Yes,
Okay.
I understand.
All right, I'm going to find as follows, that there is sufficient evidence supporting this motion to revoke unadjudicated probation to grant it by preponderance of the evidence or greater, as allegations 1, 3, and 4 have been proven true by a preponderance of the evidence or greater. Your deferred or unadjudicated probation is hereby revoked. Earlier in this case, you pleaded guilty to this second degree felony, alleging in the indictments aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, namely a box cutter. You were mentally competent to enter the plea of guilty. There was sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea with State's Exhibit 1 admitted at your plea hearing to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. I now find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt based upon the revocation of your probation. And following this agreement, you were hereby sentenced to confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 5 years. The judgment shall reflect that a deadly weapon, namely a box cutter, was used for the commission of the offense. Do you understand what has happened today, sir? You'll be given credit for almost 500 days. Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else? That is all. Chris. You had Christina Williams?
Yes, sir.